Hey guys, this is Akil and welcome back to the Acolyte channel. Today I've got some more Galanthia Unrest content for you. And in this video I'm going to be showing you step by step how to fill out your character sheet. Let's get into it. Okay, so there are two pages to the character sheet. You've got the main page, which is going to be the one that you use primarily throughout your playthrough, and then the second page is just kind of the added stuff that is good to refer to every once in a while. Now, in Galanthia Unrest, arguably the most important thing to decide is what race you're going to be, because your race is where pretty much all of your abilities will come from. So, let's have a look at the races. Now, excuse the artwork, this is my concept artwork, it hasn't been done by a professional yet, but the races we have are as follows. There are the Metabirthed, and there are three versions of the Metabirthed, MB001, MB002, and MB003. Each one of them have their own unique abilities. MB001 is more perception and sharpshooting, MB002 is a lot more tank and strength, and MB003 is a lot more espionage, stealth. Now, although there isn't going to be a restriction on this, my advice, and it will say so in the book, would be if a group of players is going to use a Metabirthed, ideally you only want to use one per party. There are lore reasons behind that, but we don't have to get into that right now. The other races we have are Beast, Cornubus, Elf, Fairy and Pixie, Featherfolk, Feline Folk, Human, Reptilian, Sea Folk, and Troll. So for this example, I'm going to create a Featherfolk, so that is what I'm going to write in the race section of the character sheet. Now I'm thinking I want my feathered folk to look like a crow, so I think the best name for it is going to be Russell. So the next thing we need to decide is our starting class. Now the keyword there is starting. This does not necessarily decide how you're going to be throughout the game, this just decides who you were. It's essentially your background and your history. But as you level up, you can completely change who you wish to be. Who you were does not define who you can become. The starting classes are the Alchemist, the Apothecary, Bard, Chaos Mage, Con Artist, Hunter, Mage, Marksman, Shadow Walker, and Warrior. I'll dive deeper into what each one of those do in future videos, but for this one, just for this example, I'm going to go with the Hunter. Now ordinarily, you'd obviously start at level 1. However, if you want to start a little bit more further ahead, you could start at level 3 or level 5. For this example, we're going to create a level 3 character. The two last sections in this tab. Loyalty. Loyalty doesn't necessarily have to be filled in, it can be if you wish. There are two islands, Dankar and Eldrin, and loyalty is if you are specifically loyal to one of them. Dankar is a lot more natural magic and nature, whereas Eldrin is more evolution, steam, and metal. So as a Featherfolk, for this, I think I'm going to put that I'm going to be loyal to Dankar. And finally, the Enhancement section. The Enhancement section is for something that you can either begin the game with or have happen to you in the game. For this, I'm not going to dive too deep into what the lore of that is, but essentially in the game or before creating a character, you can give yourself a metallic boost. This is where you'd write that, but Russell isn't going to have any of those, so we're going to leave those blank. So that's the first section. Let's move on to section 2. Hit points, combat points, magical, physical, and natural defense. Now this whole section gets filled in by using the race charts. Each race has their own set numbers for this. So for a feathered folk, the HP is 22, CP is 28, physical defense is 15, magical defense is 12, and natural defense is 13. And for a quick summary, HP is your health points. Combat points is what you'll use to not only use special abilities, but it will also place you in the battle lineup. And the physical, magical, and natural defense are the three ways in which you can receive damage, giving your opponents more of a strategic method on how to cause you the most harm. Each race has their strengths. Some are better withstanding physical damage, whereas others, magic just rolls off of them. Now for section 3, and much like before, all of the information for this tab can be found on your race page, but when filling it in, be sure to leave some space next to the number you write down for any buffs that you may get. The Featherfolk strength is 12, agility is 15, stealth is 14, knowledge is 11, will is 10, and perception is 13. And staying on this page to do the next section, which is the speed section. There are 4 speed stats. You have movement, climbing, swimming, and flying. And for the Featherfolk, movement is 30, climb is 10, swim is 10, and flying is 60. These speeds determine how far you can travel, usually within battle. Next up we have the accuracy and dodge stat. This is the first part where we're going to require dice to determine the answer. So you're going to need 2d6, and you roll them, and the result is what your answer will be for these two stats. Now I've rolled a 5 and a 3, so what I get to do with that is choose which goes where. Accuracy is what you're going to roll if you're going to attack someone or something, and dodge is what you're going to roll to avoid said hit. Now, I'm thinking as a hunter, I'm going to want to be pretty good at hitting things, so I want my accuracy to be more than my dodge. So I'm going to place the 5 in accuracy, so we write a +5 there, and the 3 in dodge, so +3. Directly next to that is the fatigue points. Now this isn't something you fill out now. Throughout the game, certain things you do could give you fatigue points, and you want to keep your fatigue points low. Too many could be a problem. Now on this page there's 3 more sections to worry about. The race traits, the weapons and magic, and the development blocks, which consists of combat, survival, resistance, and ability. So let's fill the development part in first. Every race has 2 traits to put into the development block. For the feather folk, they have the survival trait of natural defense negate. What this means is when you're about to receive natural damage, you can roll a d20, and on a 10 plus, that damage is halved. So we're going to write that down in the survival box, and we're also going to put a little black dot at the top. The black dot is to signify what level that development block is, and that will come into play as you level up. Everything within the block will become more powerful as you go. And the other race trait that you receive is Feather Dart. That goes into the ability block, and a little black dot goes with it. Now because these two come under the race trait tab, they go into the little box to the left. Now when you pick your starting class, you also receive 2 more development stats. And for Hunter, those stats are Set Traps, which is a combat trait, and Danger Perception, which goes into survival. Okay, so before even leveling up, we've already got 2 points in survival and 1 point in combat and ability. Now how the points work is 1, 2, 3 is 1 level, 4, 5, 6 is 2, 7, 8, 9 is 3, and if you have all 10 rings filled in, you have mastered that block. Every time you level up, you receive 1 point, and that point can be put in any of the 4 blocks to increase your character's knowledge and abilities. Now we're making a level 3 character, so if we look back at our race traits, we can see that at level 2, the ability you gain is 2 development points, so we get 1 point for leveling up and an extra 2 for that trait. So by turning to the development section of the book, which I won't show any of here because there's a lot of unfinished stuff there, but some of the things that are finished we can take a pick and increase our character. So one of the things that I'd like to take is dual wielding, which comes under combat. And with the 2 points that I've received from race traits, I'm going to choose to be resistant to fear, and I'm also going to give myself the ability of sharpshooter. And then at level 3 I'm going to put another point into combat to get mid-ranged weapon. And the level 3 race trait is Glide, which gets written in the box at the left. Now obviously there's a lot of things that I've said here that I haven't given a description for. Don't worry, there will be future videos explaining what each of these things do, but for now this is just about how to build the character sheet. With the development block done, we can actually see that the combat box is now at level 2, meaning everything within that box is going to get a buff. Now when making a character, part of the thing you'll do is go to the weapons tab to decide what items you're going to start the game with. One of the items is of course a weapon. You get 2 weapons. The weapons that I'm going to choose is a short sword and also a pistol. Now a pistol will come under mid-ranged fighting, and because in the combat stat I have mid-ranged weapons, I get a bit of a bonus when rolling for damage. That's the first page of the character sheet done, so let's have a look at the second page. So here there are 5 sections. There's the currency tab, the inventory tab, character description, backstory, and character portrait. So let's start with currency. There's 3 forms of currency. You have bronze bits, silver bits, and gold bits. 100 bronze is 1 silver, and 100 silver is 1 gold. So in order to work out your currency, you require 3d20, or just 1 but roll it 3 times. So to work out the bronze bits, 3d20. So I've got a 4, 4, and 15, which is a total of 23, so I have 23 bronze bits. To work out silver, it's 2d20. I rolled a 20 and a 5, so that's 25 silver. And for gold, it's just 1d20, so I'm going to use my Crescent Moon Dice Potion for this one. And I got 15, so I have 15 gold pieces. Now for character description, you can be as vague or as detailed as you like. I am a feathered folk, so in here I'll write down I have the characteristics of a black feathered crow, I have a scar down my right eye, and I have a jet black beak. You can be as descriptive as you want here. When creating your character, there's going to be a section where you can choose one of the starting packs that you receive. Now, I'm still working on the starter packs, so for now, I'm just going to leave this one blank, but off the top of my head, let's say I picked one that had bullets for my gun, a couple days worth of rations, waters, things like that. That would all go here, along with anything that you pick up along your travels. Then it's your backstory. Again, the backstory is entirely unique to you. You can be as detailed or as vague as you like. So for example, I'm a hunter, so my backstory may be that I grew up in a quiet little forest with my family. I went out one day for a walk, came back, something terrible had happened. I wanted to hone my skills to avenge them, so I learned how to be a hunter. You know, something like that. It can be anything you like. And for the character portrait, this is mostly just for you and your party, so I'm just going to put like a little stick figure with a beak. That's going to be my drawing for now. And that's it, that's the character sheet. I'm sure there's some questions as to what some of the things mean, like the abilities and what the abilities do. Those will be answered in future videos. And as you saw in the video, my artwork isn't the best. When this gets closer to publishing, there will be professional artists who will be taking over, and one is being worked on as we speak. I've got a GoFundMe to raise the funds to do some of the early stuff, such as the map, the front cover, and a few other little details before the main Kickstarter. And that GoFundMe had actually reached a point where we could do the first big job, which was the world map. So an artist is working on that as we speak. I can't wait to show you that. I can't wait to see it myself. I'll leave the link to the GoFundMe down below. If you wish to help out in any way, it'd be greatly appreciated. Even sharing it around is a great help. But that's all for now. I hope you've liked what you've seen, and I look forward to showing you more of Galanthia Unrest. And there we have it. That is how you fill in the Galanthia Unrest character sheets. I hope you all liked this video, guys. If you did, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. It means the world to me, and by doing so, you'll also be sharing around the GoFundMe to get this in the air. And if you was interested in the dice potion, the dice, and even the top that I was wearing in this video, then I highly recommend the Crescent Moon Alchemy Co. They have bags, dice, bottles, and everything you need for your role-playing adventures. And with the code ACOLYTE, you get 10% off your order, so go check them out.